It is officially an end of an era, as the longtime voice of the New York Rangers is officially calling it a career after this season, and it has Rangers fans fired up and hoping that the Rangers can finish off this season with a Stanley Cup Cinderella ending. We're going to break all of that down, but before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 70% of you watching our videos are not actually subscribed to the channel, so if you want to do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers. And before we get into the news of today, I want to give a special shout out and thank you to Gabby for holding it down on the channel while I was away on vacation. Some news came out and some interesting stuff about EJ Emery, so go check out that video if you get a chance. But some interesting news dropped just yesterday about the longtime voice of the New York Rangers, and of course I'm talking about Sam Rosen, who is the voice of hockey for some, honestly. Like, he's been around for so long and such an influential piece of hockey history, honestly, and it looks like, at least, that his last game will be the last game of the Rangers season next season. The 2024-25 NHL season will be Sam Rosen's last as the Rangers play-by-play announcer, per the New York Post. It's been a wonderful ride. I loved sports growing up. I played sports growing up, and to be involved in sports the way I have been I have been just the thrill of a lifetime. Love that quote from Sam Rosen. And honestly, like, I think for every Rangers fan, this guy is the voice of hockey, not just your team. Like, he is the voice of any hockey game. You hear, it's a power play goal, right? All these things that he has trademarked over the years in every situation, any hockey game you watch, you know that from him. And honestly, like, his commentary gives you chills, honestly, like, over the years. And big Rangers moments, you think of Brad Richards' tying goal in 2012 against the Washington Capitals, right? Like, these little moments that he's able to put his little spin on that just makes you emotional, honestly. And that's what's beautiful about the game of hockey and commentary in Sam Rosen. And obviously, just this past year with the play-by-play call of the Trocheck overtime winner, little things throughout the years, just love it. 2 years ago in 2022, and the Rangers run to the conference final. So many great moments for Sam Rosen in that run as well. So as we move along here, this is a great article as well in the New York Post. And a lot of people are wondering who's going to replace Sam Rosen as well next season. It looks like Kenny Albert could be the front runner, and we'll get into that maybe in a different video or somewhere down the line. I don't want to spend too much time on that because we'll find out, halfway through the season or sometime next season, or heading into next season, I should say, in the off season next year. But this is to celebrate Sam Rosen, and this was a quote from the article as well. So it's time to spend a little more time with my wife, with my family, and to go out on top, Rosen said. Fans have been great, and they've been so complimentary, and they've inspired me. I realize that I've touched a lot of people, and it's now time to say thank you very much and put a big bow on it, because I think everyone is in agreement at the Garden and at the network that this will be a big finish, and I'm hoping the Rangers will have a big year to cap it off. And we'll get into some fan reaction in a second. I want to get to some more quotes from Sam Rosen before we do that, but the fan reaction has been insane on Twitter so far. Not only just on Twitter, everywhere. Everyone wants the Rangers to finish off next season with that Cinderella ending, the Stanley Cup. So imagine Sam Rosen getting to call a Stanley Cup winning goal or just a play or anything like that. Stanley Cup final, the Rangers win the Stanley Cup, he gets that call, and then he's able to hoist the Stanley Cup as well. That would be insane. But here's some more quotes from Sam Rosen himself. For me, it was more of a personal call. It would last my lifetime no matter what happened, said the 77-year-old Rosen, who has called more than 3,000 Rangers games. Keep in mind, there's 82 games in a season, including playoffs, I guess, but, usually not that many over the years. And of course, the Rangers weren't that good in the mid-2000s. But 3,000 Rangers games in a Hall of Fame career. If they won 3 more, no more, 5 more, certainly the hope was that they would win a lot of Stanley Cups. And that's just awesome from Rosen. I mean, He wanted it to last a lifetime, of course, and 3,000 games. I mean, that is incredible for Sam Rosen. And he went on to say, I grew up at a time where we didn't have a problem getting on the subway in Brooklyn and going to the old Madison Square Garden on 8th Avenue and 49th and 50th. And we would go as many Sundays as we could. He said we had our Go card that allowed us to get in at 4:30 in the afternoon for a 7 o'clock game. So this guy, obviously, most announcers, like so many synonymous announcers with hockey, lived, breathed this game, right? Like, he loved this game so much, and he is the voice. Like, it's going to sound weird after this season, Rangers games, that is. Like, it's just going to sound weird. This guy is the voice, especially on the network, for when the games aren't nationally televised. He is the voice of the Rangers. It's going to sound weird. It's going to be different. And let's get into some fan reaction now, too, because fans and media members alike were, not happy. Like, we're going to celebrate him retiring, of course, but it is bittersweet that he is retiring after this season. And hearing Sam Rosen sign off for the final time is going to hit like a sledgehammer to the balls. I am not mentally prepared for that. And there was a lot of this online yesterday. Like, if this team denies me a chance of seeing Hank lift the cup and hear a Sam Rosen Stanley Cup championship call in my 31 years here, there's simply nothing else they can take away from me, which is hilarious. Like, a lot of funny stuff. I get the sentiments from everyone, a lot of funny stuff. I've talked about it briefly, but it is going to be unfathomable when Sam Rosen calls his last game. My entire childhood, it's a power play goal. Rangers win. We have to win the Stanley Cup. And that is the sentiment among Rangers fans the last day or so. Not even 24 hours yet since this was announced at the time I'm recording this. I honestly don't have the words to attempt to sum up all Sam Rosen has meant to me in my life, but luckily I have a season to figure it out. That last sign off, though, that's going to hurt. That's going to be a moment for Sam Rosen, right? It's going to be that's going to be his moment. Fans are going to be glued to their TV screens, and hopefully it's like in the Stanley Cup final, right? That is the goal for the Rangers next year. Stanley Cup final, win the Stanley Cup. That is the goal. So hopefully Sam Rosen gets to call that next season. And this is from NYR Louis. Again, I've never experienced a Ranger hockey season without Sam Rosen as my play-by-play, and I don't think I'm ready to. We got to treasure this season. That's exactly it. Got to treasure the season, right? And when you look at the fan reaction, what this guy has meant to the Rangers, it's going to be a very monumental season one way or another, whether they win the Stanley Cup or not, going a deep playoff run or not. This is the final season with the voice, as far as I'm concerned, of the New York Rangers, who will always be the voice of the New York Rangers, right? I cannot get "it's a power play goal" out of my head. Like, that is so synonymous. There are certain calls in hockey that you do not get out of your head, right? And that is one of them. So it's going to be very bittersweet to celebrate his career, of course, and his retirement, but to see him go, because obviously I feel like there could still be more left in the tank for him. And, you want to see him call a Rangers Stanley Cup win. So it's going to be a very interesting season for sure to keep an eye on with all of that and what he's meant to the New York Rangers and the community in New York, right? So, and I love these quotes from him as well, right? Like, him reminiscing on, when he originally became a Rangers fan and going to the old Madison Square Garden, and, the fact that, he's called 3,000 games over the course of his career, and he was hoping that there would be a lot of Stanley Cups, but hopefully there's at least one on the way, and that would be a Cinderella ending for Sam Rosen. So let me know in the comments what you think of Sam Rosen retiring, and what this last season could mean to him and the Rangers fan base. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.